Keith Mady with Landmark Title. The real estate market is constantly changing, and it's important for you to stay on top of this information. With Marketing Insights, we provide you facts, figures, and statistics to stay on top of the market. Come join us now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Kiburz with Market Insights for Landmark Title, March 2024. Let's begin, Sarah. Our agenda today is talk about some industry updates and the national headlines and the local headlines, some numbers out of Maricopa County, and a look at some individual cities. Lots to cover, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep going. Next, please. Some fast facts to cover, including the end of month for February going into March 1st. Our active listings, the beginning of March, was 12,460 for Maricopa County only. That's an increase in active listings. Our single-family homes are just under 10,000 at 9,345. Townhomes are at 988. Condos leapfrog ahead of townhomes to go over 1,014 doors are available for sale for condos. And manufactured homes actually continue to increase at 802 active listings. Our closed units, 4,619, absorption rate 3351. Coming soon technically went down to 531. Interest rates, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know out there working, it did take a little bit of a surge the last couple of weeks in the lower range, in the low sixes, depending on how great our credit is, and we're certainly in sevens again. Our average sale price, $579,636, ending at the end of February of this year. That is for Maricopa County. Let's continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all out there working hard. There's a lot of influences in our world from politics and industry, government, societal shifts. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to stop sometimes if we ever get frustrated, a little bit worrisome. What's in and out of my control? Simple graph just to remind ourselves we can't control the past or the result or what people think of us or other people's opinion or even the future. But what's in our control are our words, thoughts, response, our self-awareness, and how we treat others. And as we look at this challenging time of an industry, ladies and gentlemen, communication is paramount. Let's continue, Sarah. As we start to dance a little bit with what's going on out there in terms of research, ladies and gentlemen, I've always been a fan of John Burns out of Santa Monica. And I included this graph in the center, the JBREC analysis, takes in consideration all these different inputs from architects and resale agents and rental developments. And ladies and gentlemen, what we look at in real estate is far more sophisticated, complex, and enormous by comparison of what it was just 20 years ago when I ventured into real estate. And this is a great example in an infographic of all the inputs that go into an analysis. You want to talk about a marketing master's, boy, you almost need that at times. So let's continue, Sarah. Just looking at the headlines from the Phoenix Business Journal in the last 30 days. They talk about the Costco effect and how that had a very big impact on the West Side and Buckeye. Car vacant. Carvana was booming when we had very little chips available and we couldn't get cars delivered, and resale cars were at an all-time high. And Carvana was exploding. And they have two campuses that they're building here in Tempe, and they're considering that they won't even move into those headquarters. Hidden potential, when we're looking at the workforce, and ladies and gentlemen, our workforce in Arizona is one of the reasons people are moving here. It's part of our magnet piece. But we have a tighter magnet in terms of workforce, and they talk about the missing mentors, that if there's anything out there that's missing, it's the senior experienced leaders that some hidden potential is out there looking for. Next, and I put this one at the end, the 2024 housing trend, and they comment this way. I think it summed it up better than anybody I've listened to or read. It won't happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen, but experts are bracing for a bull run if rates come down to earth. I think that's the one variable that's out there that would cause us to go really busy with our industry. Next slide. And why would it be busy, ladies and gentlemen? Because from the national headline news, we are missing 7 million. Our nation could build 7 million additional homes today to satisfy the need that's out there. In the last couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen, mortgage rates continue to climb up. ADUs are climbing. That's becoming more and more an acceptable short-term alternative to housing, where people are building a casita. They're turning casita in a rental property. They're putting a loft above their garage or turning the garage into a small apartment. That is on the climb. Please know that. And ladies and gentlemen, when we look at all the lawsuits, when we look at the need for a buyer broker, ladies and gentlemen, from a buyer agent standpoint, what I feel conviction in is we need to have a grand strategy on how do we explain our value? What value do we give to the buy side of the transaction that we're representing? And how do we bring value then over to the list side of the transaction? That's about communication and value. Make sure you spend time on that and learn to perfect that. Next, please. Some numbers here as we look at just a run for total actives down to total single family sold. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people look at all the listings in the MLS. All the listings on the MLS on the first was 16,486 in terms of total active. Slicing that down to just Maricopa County, 12,460. Like to distinguish those two things. Those 4,000 doors, a high percent of those are in Pinal County, and another significant percent are throughout the rest of the state. And sometimes those get aggregated into our local Maricopa value. And with a average sale price of 560, 570, 580, that can sometimes pull those numbers down versus up. Total single family, 9,345. I'd like to point out what I think was the first time ever that total townhomes at 988 for actives, that condos ascended above those total number for sales, 1,014. And ladies and gentlemen, at some point with all the condos and apartments we've been building in our metro, that more dense housing, I see that tendency continue to expand. And by comparison, we're building a lot more new condos than we are a lot more new townhomes. UCB did climb to 2519. Ladies and gentlemen, compared to December, that's over 1,000 more doors. Coming soon did descend down to 531. Pending is up significantly, ladies and gentlemen, at 4,010. Again, go back to December, we were at just 2,500. As a percent, that's a huge amount of numbers of homes that are currently pending. Total sold, total single family sold in Maricopa County. We're up about 800 doors in total single family sold in Maricopa County. And ladies and gentlemen, personally, that's my bellwether that we track everything from. That's on the climb. We have some more graphs to illustrate that here in a couple minutes. Next, please. Again, just to give some perspective, when our market was at really an all-time low in terms of inventory, we were averaging about 26 doors per zip code. And ladies and gentlemen, currently at 12,460, that works out to 81 active listings, whether they be townhome, patio home, condo, single family home, manufactured home. The average zip code in Maricopa County on the first was 81 doors per zip code. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, from Rapid Stats in ARMLS, doesn't look like a whole lot's changed here, but we're going to talk more about that. So our total actives on this moment, 12,354, sold 4,742, and under contract 6,880. That's a good run compared to where we've been lately. When we look at the bottom left graph and looked at median and average sale price and the sold to list ratio, they've been just gliding nicely between median and average sale price. But ladies and gentlemen, that glide has just been between 98 and 100%, and they seem to be running in parallel there. As we look at the bottom right graph, median and average cost per square foot in the last 24 months, and we look at the vertical lines in red and blue, if you go to the bottom far right, just know this, that February versus January average cost per square foot is up just under $5 a square foot. It's like $4.65 a square foot. So our market, the homes on our market continue to ascend. Next, please. When we look at absorption rate and month of supply in blue, it did contract a little bit. It was at 3.3 months. We're down to 2.98 months, or right at 3 months of supply. And our absorption rate is currently at 33%, 33.5 versus 29% last month. There's more activity, there's more pacing, there's more urgency, there's more buying and selling out there happening right now. Next, please. So as we look at combining Maricopa and Pinal County, we aggregate those two numbers together. Our active listings in blue are up 10.2%. In yellow, our median sale price is up 6.2%, and this would be for all of Maricopa County and Pinal County. Just want to give texture for that. As we go to the next slide, we've split those out into 2 months. Go ahead, Sarah. Maricopa County and Pinal County. Just wanted to show some distinguishing a couple things. So in blue, our active listings are up 11% in Maricopa County, but the median sale price in Maricopa County is up 6.7%, whereas Pinal County's up 5% in their listings, but it's only up 1.2% in their home value. And so we look hard at the yellow number and say, okay, Pinal County's averaging 201 a square foot, while Maricopa County's aggregating 269 a square foot, and that gap continues to expand. So we're north of 66, 67, $68 a square foot higher in the two counties. Next, please. To illustrate some of the numbers in Maricopa County, period. Here we go here. This is new listings, active listings under contract and sold. What I'd like to point out for you here, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at new listings, we're down like 1%, 0.9 of 1% from a month ago. But ladies and gentlemen, compared to 3 months ago, our new listings are going up just under 25%. That's significant. When we look at under contract, ladies and gentlemen, in the far right in blue, 6880, in the last 30 days, we're up 19%. Ladies and gentlemen, that's activity. That's getting things done out there for our buyers and sellers. I applaud you. Please know in the circle graph in orange, 9.36 homes are new build. That's still, let's just call it just shy of 10% of our overall market. Fix and flip is very active right now at 6.95, and that our traditional normal sales are at 82%. It's been running like that for quite a long time, between 80 and 84%. Next, please. This is a slightly new addition to the ARMLS update in their rapid stat reporting. So I wanted to include this for you, ladies and gentlemen. So what this is looking at is Maricopa County new listings per square foot. And these are new listings that have come on essentially in the last 30 days. And if you slide across the two colored lines, the black and the red, the average sale price for new listings went down to about 315 or so, give or take. It looks by the graph. And the median sale price is close to 280. And then the number in the green bar, vertical bar, is the number of listings that came on board. When you go back to the active listings in the last 24 months, you see that our active listings are averaging just under 340, and our median price listings are at 280. So what it's illustrating here with this new graph, when I summarize this back to you, is things that are new are coming in between 315 and 280, while the overall active listings are closer to 340 and 280. Next slide, please. What's under contract in the last few days and what is sold. So right now we're under contract on average at 320 a square foot, and 280 is a medium price. And if you look at the bottom, what's sold, we're at 290 and about 275, give or take, on that graph. I'm reading the far right dotted line there. But the takeaway from sold listings, if you look at that from December, January, and February, you see the tilt upward that we are currently ascending in the last 60 days, 90 days in our marketplace. Next, please. This is an expansion of sell to list. STL is sell to list price, and MOFS is month of supply. And this is by price point range. The reason I went ahead and included this graph, if you start looking from left to right in January 2024 and read all those numbers, especially the percent sell to list price left to right, and go up to February sell to list price, every one of those categories ascended to a higher percent we're getting closer and closer to, once again, to 100%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're still doing seller contribution, buying down interest rates. We're still negotiating repairs and things like that. As terms of listing agents, we're getting closer to we're listing at the market. We're not overpricing a listing and letting it become stale and stagnant. Everybody is doing a better job out in the market today than 18 months ago when interest rates took off and we weren't sure exactly how to handle that. We're handling it beautifully now, ladies and gentlemen. Next, please. Couple graphs I feel are very important. So we're looking at the number of active listings. So stay with me in the blue line, look to the far right at 12,354. Ladies and gentlemen, that's as of the first of the month, and that is the number of listings in Maricopa County. If you slide to the middle of the graph and look at March of 2023, ladies and gentlemen, we had 8,437. So we're up, let's just call it just shy of 4,000 more doors available than what we had a year ago this time, give or take. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to let you know as well is that we tipped over 7,000 under contract for a short moment. We haven't had that high of number of under contract homes in 6 months, and we had far less inventory when we were doing that. The bounce of interest rates, it's causing frustration. It has an effect, no question. But we're learning more and more that housing is important. There is a substantial demand for housing out there. Again, we could build 7 million more homes in our nation to satisfy the current need. People are finding a way to get houses under contract, and they're finding how to come out of their current home and into a new home if need be. So this is active listings 12,354. Next, please. Under contract. Essentially, we had a pretty good surge. We're at 6,880 at this moment in time, 6,880. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go back to December of this past year, 2023, you see the trough at 39.28. And if you look to the middle of the graph, the other trough, 41.54, start at December of 2022 and look for the next 2 months, and then look at December of 2023 and the next 2 months, you're seeing a very similar pattern in spite of interest rates. When you see the lag happen from April, and then we did a slow dwindle down to December, we may not have that same slow dwindle down this year, especially if interest rates can at least maintain, if not, hopefully go down just a little bit, that we won't have that same downward spiral. We've had the same ascent this last 90 days as we did a full year ago, 90 days back. Next, please. Closed transactions, 4140 on the far right of the graph. We got more done, and based on what's under contract right now and pending, we should have a better close for the month of March. Next. When we look at new listings coming in, far right again, we're just about equal where we were in January and February. And that is a great indicator. January, February a year ago was at 7,200 and 7,100. So we're about $1,400 doors more than we were a year ago at this time. And we're doing a great job. Everybody's out there working hard. So thank you in advance. Okay, let's go now, Sarah. We're going to go into some individual cities and we'll wrap things up. But first, we're going to stop at Apache Junction just for a moment. Again, just to properly read the graph. In blue, active listings are up 59.5%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why do we have such a high increase in new doors in Apache Junction, going from 150 in February 2023 to 250 a year later? There's a lot of new builds in Apache Junction. So know where you're at in terms of growth of new construction that's happening there. The graph that I think is always most important on these bubble graphs, infographic, is in yellow. I wish it was just a little bit brighter. But our market in Apache Junction is up 5.4% in the last 12 months. And if you go back 180, 190 years in the Case-Shiller report, they aggregated out over those decades and decades for inflation that the average sale price of a home goes up 2% a year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to a 5% increase in Apache Junction as we speak. I just want to leave it there on the table. Now, to back up those numbers, if you ever wanted to sit down with a buyer or seller, this is a great graph to share with them to give an indicator of their individual community of Apache Junction. And if you have somebody like say, well, how did you get there? That's what the next slide is for. Sarah, here we go with the number of listings active, under contract, sold, and average days on market. In the circle graph, it's talking about new builds and normal sales and fix and flip. Now, when people want to get more specific, underneath the blue number, let's take active listings at 252. There's those 4 green arrows pointing upward. So the top left arrow at 13.5%, that's 1M is 1 month prior. Active listings are up 13% in the last 30 days. To the right of that at 2475, that's a 3-month prior. We're up 24% from where we were 3 months ago. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're up 62% from 6 months ago. And ladies and gentlemen, we're up 59, almost 60% from where we were a year ago. That is how we read that graph for Apache Junction. And then we have a mirror image for 26 other cities, primary and secondary cities out of the 50 some in our metro. So Avondale is at 1.5% increase. Couple more slides ahead, Sarah. Buckeye is up only just 1.5%. Next. Carefree at 10. Keep going. Cave Creek is up 5. Chandler's up 3. Fountain Hills is up 3 or 13. I'm sorry. When we look at Gilbert, thriving, a lot of good things happening there, up 10% from where it was a year ago. And Glendale's up 6.6%. Pause there for a second, Sarah. Glendale, boy, we're going to host the Final Four here in April. Our metro has been showcased. We didn't always have the best weather. We didn't have great weather at the Phoenix Open. We had pretty good weather at the Barrett-Jackson. But part of the playoff for basketball is coming to Glendale. Again, I believe it's the first week in April, second week in April. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on display. There's going to be a lot of people in town, and it's going to be a beautiful time of year to be in Arizona. So part of that is being good hosts, providing good hospitality. So I just want to say it out loud. And of all of our metros, Glendale is going to get the spotlight because of the basketball playoff coming. Next, please. Gold Canyon up 1.5%. And Goodyear up 1.3%. So I'm going to let you continue to go through these slides, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted you to experience this. You can come back and look at individual cities. Please know the technology is out there to go all the way down to a zip code. And technically, ladies and gentlemen, they just came out with a tool that allows you to draw a line just like a map and say, hey, I just want to know what's going on inside this freeway, outside that freeway belt. I just want to look at Vistancy and nothing else. Those tools are out there with Rapid Stats. As you're out there working hard, ladies and gentlemen, always consider Landmark Title as one of your partners. They're out there doing a great job. They're kind. They have hospitality. They get things done. We need things done in this market to bulletproof our transaction. Have a great day out there. And until April, have a great month and make a purposeful impact, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for watching. Come join us every month on Marketing Insights and let us help you stay on top of the real estate market.